Have you ever noticed how your heart softens just a little when you see a dog wagging its tail or a cat curling up peacefully on your lap? There's something so comforting, almost magical, about animals. They don't ask for much, just a little love, a warm place to rest, maybe a treat or two. But what they give back can be truly life-changing. If you've ever had a pet, you know what I mean. They don't care what age you are or whether you're having a good or bad day. They just show up completely in the moment, and they bring with them this calming presence that's hard to explain, but easy to feel. As we grow older, life has a way of changing around us. Sometimes friends move away, family visits become less frequent, or our routines get quieter. And while solitude can be peaceful, too much of it can begin to weigh on us. That's where something as simple as the presence of a pet can step in and completely transform the tone of your days. In this video, we're going to explore how pet therapy, whether it's spending time with your own pet, visiting with therapy animals, or even just watching birds outside your window, can bring joy, purpose, and even physical health benefits into your life. Let's begin with something very real: companionship. As humans, we're wired to connect. But as we age, the opportunities to socialize may shrink. Maybe you've lost a spouse, or your close circle isn't as easy to see as it once was. Having a dog that greets you every morning with a wagging tail, or a cat that settles beside you as you read, can fill that gap in a beautiful, nonverbal way. Pets offer unconditional companionship. You don't need to explain yourself to them, and they never interrupt or judge. They just sit beside you, offering their presence in the most genuine form. And that companionship doesn't just make us feel emotionally supported, it often has a ripple effect. When you take a dog for a walk, you're suddenly engaging with the world around you. You might stop to chat with a neighbor or wave at a passerby. Even those small social moments can lift your spirits and add structure to your day. Having a pet, especially a dog, naturally introduces a sense of routine. That daily rhythm of feeding, walking, and caring brings a kind of gentle accountability. And sometimes knowing that someone else depends on you is exactly the kind of motivation that helps you stay active and grounded. But the benefits of pet therapy go even further than companionship and structure. Research has shown that spending time with animals can actually improve your health in measurable ways. Stroking a cat or watching fish swim in a tank has been linked to reduced blood pressure and lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol. And that's not just hearsay. Hospitals and senior care centers across the country now welcome therapy animals because the science backs it up. Patients feel calmer, experience less pain, and even recover more quickly in the presence of animals. One woman I spoke with recently shared that after her husband passed away, her days felt empty and her home felt silent. Then a neighbor suggested she adopt an older dog from a local rescue. She hesitated at first, worried about the responsibility, the expense, whether she could keep up, but eventually, she brought home a sweet, gentle Labrador who had also lost his former home. She said within a week, her house didn't feel empty anymore. She had a reason to get out of bed, to take a walk, to smile. That dog didn't just keep her company, he helped her heal. Now, maybe owning a pet full-time isn't something that fits your current lifestyle, and that's perfectly okay. The beauty of pet therapy is that it's flexible. You don't need to adopt an animal to benefit from one. There are programs where trained volunteers bring therapy dogs to visit seniors in their homes or in community centers. These animals are carefully selected and trained to be calm, gentle, and responsive, making them ideal companions even for those who are more cautious or who may have limited mobility. Just one visit a week from a therapy dog has been shown to reduce feelings of loneliness and increase emotional well-being. Even something as simple as setting up a bird feeder outside your window can bring a surprising amount of joy. Watching birds flit and sing, noticing the change of seasons reflected in their activity, it's a gentle reminder that the world is alive and moving, and that you're a part of it. That kind of mental engagement, that quiet stimulation, it's incredibly valuable, especially when days start to blend together. Pets also have this special ability to make us feel seen. They don't look past us or through us, they look right at us and they respond. A dog might rest its head on your knee when you're having a tough day, or a cat might curl beside you and purr without you saying a word. Those little gestures speak volumes. For many people, they bring a deep sense of connection that goes beyond words. Of course, there are practical considerations to think about if you're exploring pet therapy or even considering adopting a pet yourself. And we'll touch on those soon. But before we move on, I just want to pause and acknowledge something that often goes unsaid. If you're feeling a little more isolated these days, If your heart feels heavier than it used to, please know that you're not alone. It's completely okay to seek comfort in places that bring peace and warmth. And for many people, that place is beside a furry friend who doesn't say much but understands everything. Let's continue by exploring how different kinds of pets and different ways of interacting with them can fit into your life, no matter your circumstances. Now let's talk about how having a pet isn't just about cuddles and companionship. It actually adds structure to your day in the most beautiful way. Think about it. Whether it's feeding them in the morning, laying them out in the yard, or going for a stroll around the block, pets create a gentle routine that gives your days a rhythm. For many seniors, especially those who are retired or living alone, this rhythm becomes a form of gentle accountability, something that keeps you moving forward even when you're feeling a little tired or low. There's something powerful about waking up knowing that a small creature is depending on you. It brings purpose, no matter how quiet the rest of the day feels. And then there's the joy of play. You may not think tossing a ball across the room or dangling a string for a curious kitten is a big deal, but those small moments of movement and laughter are incredibly beneficial. Not only does your body benefit from the activity, but your mind lights up in response to joy. It can be easy to forget the sound of your own laugh when life gets a little too quiet, but pets have this uncanny ability to bring it out of you again and again. Their silliness, their quirks, even their stubbornness, every bit of it adds color to the day. These moments are not only healing, they're deeply human. For seniors who struggle with anxiety, especially those who live alone or feel overwhelmed by health concerns, pets can also act as grounding companions. The simple act of petting a dog or a cat has been shown to lower blood pressure and reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. But beyond the science, there's something soothing about the feeling of warm fur under your fingertips, the sound of steady breathing, the comfort of another living being simply being near. It's hard to feel completely alone when there's a tail thumping at your feet or a pair of curious eyes watching you from across the room. Another thing worth sharing, pets are incredible social connectors. Whether you're walking your dog through the neighborhood or sitting in the vet's office waiting room, animals open doors to conversations you might not otherwise have. It's so much easier to start chatting when you've both got dogs sniffing each other or you're comparing stories about the trouble your cat got into last night. These small interactions might seem like nothing on the surface, but they add up. And over time, they help build community. You might find yourself recognizing faces, waving to neighbors, maybe even getting invited to pet-friendly events or local meetups. Pets bring people together. That's part of their magic. If you're not quite ready for the full-time responsibility of owning a pet, that's perfectly okay. You might be surprised to learn that there are still ways to experience the benefits of pet therapy without having to commit to daily care. Local shelters often need volunteers to walk dogs or cuddle cats, and many programs exist that bring therapy animals into senior centers or hospitals for visits. These short interactions can still carry the same benefits: joy, comfort, connection, without the long-term obligations. You can even consider fostering, which offers the love and companionship of a pet temporarily, often just for a few days or weeks, while still making a huge difference in their life. The beauty of pet therapy is that it's not one size fits all. It's about finding the connection that fits you, your lifestyle, and your energy. Whether it's a gentle older dog who's happy just napping near your feet or a talkative bird who makes you smile with its quirky chirps, the right animal can slip into your world in a way that makes everything feel a little more alive. There's also something deeply healing about the way animals live in the moment. They're not worrying about next week's appointment or yesterday's mistake. They're fully present. Watching them reminds us to pause, to enjoy the moment we're in. That's a powerful lesson, especially for those of us who sometimes get caught up in worries, regrets, or uncertainty. Your dog doesn't care about your wrinkles. Your cat couldn't care less about your past. They just want to be with you right now. And that kind of unconditional presence, it's rare, and it's healing. So whether you've had pets your whole life, or you're just starting to think about bringing one into your home, it's never too late to experience the joy and health benefits that pet therapy can bring. There are options for every level of comfort and mobility, from low-maintenance fish tanks to affectionate lap cats to dogs that inspire you to get moving. You don't need to have all the answers today, just an open heart and a little curiosity. There's something remarkable that happens when you begin to recognize your pet's unique personality. Just like people, animals have their own ways of expressing affection, curiosity, and even a bit of stubbornness. Some greet you with enthusiastic tail wags, others with a quiet purr and a gentle nudge of the head. These little expressions of emotion create a relationship that feels honest and deep. And for many seniors, it's that sense of being seen and accepted that becomes incredibly nourishing. You don't have to explain yourself to your pet. You don't need to perform or pretend. They love you exactly as you are, in your robe and slippers, with your morning coffee in hand. That kind of unconditional companionship creates a sense of emotional security that is rare and precious. What's even more interesting is how pets become part of your personal history. Over time, they mark chapters of your life in a way that feels meaningful. Maybe the cat you adopted after retirement was there when you moved into your new home. Maybe the dog you walk every afternoon has been with you through a few ups and downs, always at your side, offering comfort with a nuzzle or a paw. They become witnesses to your life, quietly keeping track of your routines, your habits, even your mood. That quiet presence turns into a bond that brings stability when everything else feels like it's shifting. As you age, there's a greater awareness of time and what truly matters. Pets tend to amplify the little joys that can sometimes get overlooked. The way sunlight hits their fur as they nap in the afternoon. The excitement they show over a simple treat. The way they tilt their head when you speak, as if hanging on your every word. They remind you to find joy in the ordinary, to slow down and savor. That mindfulness, that awareness of the now, can be incredibly therapeutic. It encourages you to stay grounded, to find peace in small, everyday pleasures rather than chasing after something bigger. Beyond the emotional benefits, there's a sense of pride that often develops when caring for a pet. Whether it's managing their diet, keeping up with vet visits, or training them with patience and love, the act of caring fosters a renewed sense of competence. For seniors who may have stepped away from professional roles or family responsibilities, this ability to nurture and provide can reignite a powerful sense of self-worth. It reinforces the idea that you're still needed, still capable, still making a difference in a meaningful way. That confidence can ripple into other areas of your life, encouraging you to take on new challenges, connect more with others, or simply walk through the day with a little more purpose in your step. Pets also offer a way to break out of the monotony that can sometimes settle in during retirement. Their needs change from day to day. Their behaviors are unpredictable in the most delightful ways, and they keep you on your toes. One day, it's a surprise game of fetch in the hallway. Another, it's discovering your dog's new fascination with a mailman. These lighthearted interruptions become little adventures, things you look forward to, even laugh about later. They add color to what could otherwise be a gray routine, turning ordinary days into something worth talking about. In some cases, pets even play a role in helping couples reconnect. It's not uncommon for older partners to grow quiet over time, settling into a rhythm of comfort that sometimes lacks spark. But throw a playful dog or a curious kitten into the mix, and suddenly there's more to share, more to laugh about, more reasons to smile at each other across the room. Pets can be the bridge that brings people back together, giving them something to nurture as a team and talk about over dinner. They become part of the family story, creating shared experiences that linger in the heart. And for those who have experienced loss, whether the passing of a spouse, a friend, or a sibling, pets can offer a unique kind of companionship that softens grief. They don't rush you to heal. They don't offer cliches or try to distract you. They simply stay close, silently offering presence in the quiet moments. There's something deeply comforting in knowing that no matter how heavy your heart feels, there's still a living being right there, reminding you that you're not alone in your sorrow. They won't fix the pain, but they will sit with you in it, and that matters. You may also find that the presence of a pet leads you to become more attuned to your environment. Suddenly, you're noticing the birds in your backyard because your cat stares at them all morning. You're more aware of the changing seasons because your dog loves romping through fallen leaves or sniffing spring blooms. Pets open your eyes to the world around you, encouraging you to engage with it in a way that feels active and curious, even if it's just from your own living room window or garden chair. This connection to life, in all its messy, noisy, beautiful detail, is what makes pet therapy so effective. It brings vitality back into your space. It gives you something to wake up for and someone to share your day with. Whether you're watching your cat chase sunbeams across the floor or listening to the soft snore of your dog as they sleep beside you, these quiet moments build up into something profound. They become the rhythm of your days, the warmth in your evenings, the silent comfort when the world gets too loud. It's often said that healing doesn't always come from medicine or therapy alone. Sometimes it arrives on four legs, with fur and a heartbeat, and without saying a single word. For many seniors, the journey through later life can feel like a winding road full of transitions, both physical and emotional. But in that journey, having a companion who asks for nothing more than your presence can be a powerful anchor. The simple ritual of waking up to a pet waiting by the bed or curling up beside you in the evening becomes a kind of emotional glue, holding together the fragments of a day in a way nothing else quite can. One of the most beautiful things about pet companionship is that it keeps the spirit playful. There's something so refreshing about being pulled into a moment of pure silliness. Whether it's a dog zooming around a yard for no reason or a cat making a game out of a cardboard box, it's hard not to smile. And that smile, that genuine lightheartedness, often reaches parts of you that may have been quiet for years. In a world that can sometimes feel overly serious or overwhelming, a burst of laughter shared with a pet can be as healing as any treatment. And then there's the sense of structure they bring. As much as retirement promises freedom, it can also bring a lack of routine that leaves some people feeling adrift. Pets gently nudge you back into rhythm. They're hungry at the same time every day. They need to go outside. They want a little attention before bed. That structure isn't demanding, but it does give your days a framework, which is often a key to emotional stability. Without even realizing it, you begin to organize your time in a way that feels healthy and fulfilling. It's also worth mentioning how pets often serve as unexpected connectors to the outside world. Conversations happen at dog parks, at the vet's office, even while walking through the neighborhood. People tend to open up around animals, and suddenly a stranger becomes a new friend. For those who feel like their social circle has shrunk, the simple act of owning a pet can quietly rebuild a sense of community. Pets don't just make you feel better inside your own home. They also help you step back into the world with more ease and confidence. Even those who aren't able to have pets full-time find comfort in interacting with animals in smaller ways. Visiting shelters, volunteering at rescues, or even engaging with therapy animals at community centers can spark joy and emotional connection without the responsibility of full-time care. Some seniors explore pet sitting for friends or neighbors, allowing them to enjoy the warmth of animal companionship for a short while. These brief interactions still carry deep emotional rewards, proving that the benefit doesn't always require long-term commitment. Sometimes, just a moment of connection is enough to lift the heart. For those with mobility limitations or chronic conditions, certain pets are especially well-suited. Birds, for example, provide companionship through song and subtle interactions. Fish tanks create a peaceful visual presence that can soothe the nervous system. Even a gentle rabbit or guinea pig can offer comfort when held close. The key lies in finding a pet whose needs match your lifestyle and capabilities. With the right match, the relationship becomes less about obligation and more about shared companionship. It's about meeting each other halfway and simply being present in the same space. What makes these relationships so unique is the complete absence of judgment. Pets don't care about your past, your worries, your wrinkles, or the speed at which you now move. They care about whether you're nearby, whether you speak to them in that soft, familiar voice, whether you're willing to share a moment of stillness or play. And in offering that day after day, they give something profound in return, a sense of being valued. Not for what you can do, but simply for who you are. As you continue to grow through each chapter of your life, pets become part of the fabric of those chapters. They are in the background of every holiday, every slow Sunday afternoon, every quiet evening where the silence would feel too heavy without their breath beside you. They are part of your laughter, your routines, your sense of home. And while their lives may be shorter than ours, the love they leave behind stays with us for years. It's a kind of imprint, a warmth that doesn't fade. There's real peace in that, and also a lesson that even in times when the world feels like it's racing ahead, when the news feels heavy, or when the days feel a bit too long, companionship is one of the greatest medicines available. And it doesn't come in a bottle or a prescription pad. It comes in the shape of a paw print, the echo of a happy bark, the soft rhythm of purring against your chest. So if you've ever wondered whether your home could feel a little warmer, a little more joyful, a little less quiet, maybe a furry friend is the answer you've been looking for. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to come from the heart. Let your journey in later life be filled with love in all its forms, including the ones that come with fur, feathers, or whiskers. Because companionship knows no age, and joy has no expiration date. Here's to embracing each day with curiosity, warmth, and the kind of loyalty only a pet can give.